Gun owners in Indiana say they are being treated like sex offenders. Why? Well, because one of the local papers there, the Bloomington Herald-Times, has posted this database of which private citizens own guns. The paper says the information is public record, but is it an invasion of privacy? We are joined right now by Caleb Giddings, a gun owner in the Bloomington area and a member of the NRA, and Dennis Henigan, Vice President of Law and Policy at the Brady Campaign. He joins us from Washington, D.C. All right, Caleb, let's start with you. Why do you say that by the fact that this newspaper is printing information regarding who has carry permits in Indiana that's treating gun owners like sex offenders?
Well, thanks for having me on. Initially, when the database was launched, they actually put it in the crime section of their website. So you could go online and, much like a registered sex offender database, search your city, your street, your zip code, or your county to find out how many people with handgun permits lived in your area.
Right. And
it's just like going to the sex offenders database and finding out how many registered sex offenders live around you.
Mm-hmm. Dennis, what do you think about this? I mean, if you're getting a carry permit to privately carry a gun legally, why should everybody who lives on your street know whether or not you actually carry a gun? Because apparently in Nashville, the newspaper there, the Commercial Appeal, they actually have that information on their website.
Well, as I understand it, it's information about whether you have a carry permit. It's not information about whether you are carrying a gun at any particular time.
Well, how many people get a carry permit? And Dennis, how many people get a carry permit and don't carry a gun or don't have a gun?
Quite a few, actually. Quite a few, actually.
Really?
But the point is that these newspapers across the country have actually performed a public service because they have gotten the names of people who have these carry permits, and then they have compared them to the criminal databases, and what we have found is that in these states that have these so-called shall-issue laws that basically liberalize the carrying of concealed weapons, take away police discretion over who can carry concealed, you find that many people have been given these permits even though they have extensive criminal backgrounds and violent backgrounds. And sure enough, we have seen that people with concealed carry permits often commit very violent crimes. Just this year alone, we have had 6 multiple killings across the country by people with concealed carry permits.
Right. Dennis, hold on a second. Dennis, you're absolutely right. If somebody's got a record that would say this guy shouldn't have a gun, or have a permit, that is a function of law enforcement, that person should not have gotten a gun. However, here you've got these newspapers just putting this information out on their websites for anybody to look at for whatever purpose. Caleb, what do you think about this? Caleb?
Well, obviously, it's for us, it's a huge invasion of privacy. You're looking at, especially in the case of the Commercial Appeal, you're looking at, a database with names and addresses and people's personal information. So a woman who has gotten a handgun permit or a carry permit so that she could get a firearm to defend herself from an abusive boyfriend or is worried about stalking, now her information's out there so that person can find it. And obviously, that's a huge invasion of privacy, and it's a big safety risk.
Okay,
when you look at what's happened here in Indiana, we have when you look at what's happened here in Indiana, you have the Herald-Times has essentially printed a roadmap for gang members if they want to pick and choose which neighborhoods to go to steal firearms from.
All right, Caleb, here is what that particular newspaper said. They issued a statement. Our purpose was to provide public information we believe people would be interested in. We have databases for property sellers and buyers, restaurants that have been inspected, public salaries, and more. We don't believe we are treating them like criminals. All right, Dennis, I'm going to give you the final word.
Well, again, in Indiana, the press has actually discovered that over 500 people who have been granted these concealed carry permits, and this is just in 2 counties in Indiana, have criminal backgrounds. We cannot possibly know whether these permits are going to dangerous people until the press knows who the people are. Right. And the press has done a public service by doing this.
All right, Caleb Giddings and Dennis Henigan, we thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this lively debate this morning.
Thank you.
And you folks out in TV land, email us. What do you think about it? In the meantime, off we go to the green room. Allie and Brian.
Thanks, Sid.
Hey, up next.